Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is me. We are back, screaming into the void of the internet. Something I wanted to talk about was this obsession that some guys get, like in this kind of space, about pussy, to the extent where you just see them like spiral into this freaking descent of like madness and stuff like that. And you might notice that on a lot of the videos on my channel, I don't really talk about like freaking pussy and stuff like that. Like I basically made a video a couple of months back saying, listen, you should really just pay for it because really all it's ever really been was transactional. You can tell yourself that it's not. You can lie to yourself and say, well, back in my day and stuff like that. But listen, it's always been transactional. You were always expected to die for your family, or just frankly for someone else's family. Men have always been seen as commodity and to be expendable. And the reason I don't talk about that is because at the end of the day, it's pretty well known right now, unless you're living under a rock. But I kind of wanted to take the time to talk about this stuff because I'm not talking about like chicks. I'm just mainly talking about like the freaking reaction that guys have to this. Because here's my thought process, right? Like all the problems I got in my life, like freaking coochie, getting coochie is not one of them. Okay, like hookers are always here. You know, hookers are always there, and they're pretty affordable. To be honest, what I care about personally is something that's actually going to benefit my life long term. And if you have been following this channel, you know, I could be facing, homelessness and stuff like that. It's not exactly something that I'm worrying about. Where's my next freaking taste of vagina coming from? I look at some of these guys, that are so air quotes starved, right? And instead of them like, saying, hey, listen, I could just, pay for sex and just get some to just like get it out of my system, they fall into this freaking fantasy where they're under this impression that they were like entitled to some freaking amazing looking chick when they can't even be bothered to freaking shave themselves or exercise. And listen, let me make something very clear. Like I said, I don't shame these people. I don't call them incels. There ain't no freaking such thing as an incel. Okay? I have always believed that these guys had it right the first time. Originally, if you've been around long enough, you will know that this started as true forced loneliness. That's a lot better than incel. Incel literally translates to involuntarily celibate. Celibate means you are saving your virginity, usually for personal or religious reasons. Okay? A lot of these guys ain't religious, and they sure as heck wouldn't be saving their virginity if they could lose it. You are not involuntarily celibate. If you just don't want to pay for a hooker and you want a relationship, that's fine. But if you want to call yourself something, which I despise the fact that everyone feels the need to freaking fit in with some kind of group these days, in this some goddamn echo chamber, call yourself true force loneliness because you're not an insult. Because there's plenty of hookers, and if you don't want hookers, you are voluntarily choosing not to partake in something that will solve your problem. That's basically my piece on that, right? But moving forward, like I'm listening to some of these guys, and they're talking about how, like, a solution is that, we have too many men, and if there was just like mainly women, then, then they'd have to compete for our attention. I'm like, listen to what you're saying. You're sounding literally just like some gynocentric feminazi cunt, that's saying kill all men. And essentially, these guys like do want that because they've essentially admitted that like there's access men and we should just like freaking off them, and like just like only make sure that we have like little girls. So what? We're just gonna freaking abort the boys? Like this is what I'm talking about, right? They talk about so-called male problems, and then they're literally creating problems for like future men to deal with because they're so freaking obsessed with pussy and they don't care how it destroys their lives or someone else's lives so long as there is a fraction of pussy juice at the end of the finish line. This is what I mean. And this is why I say, at the end of the day, as effed up as it is that guys get played, as effed up as it is that guys like get their families torn apart, some of these cocksuckers deserve it and then some. Like, I genuinely hope some of these people that say that, they want this family and stuff like that, I hope they get it. I hope they get it. And I hope that, for their sake, that she stays there. But if she doesn't, I'm not going to cry one tear. If that fucker is homeless or something like that, he ain't going to have any pity for me. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. When you're going around here, when all these guys have all these problems to deal with, and you're essentially telling them that they're not worth anything because they're not too busy chasing pussy, because who knows, I don't know, like for my example, they could be facing homelessness, lack of finding work, because finding work is essentially just like looking for a date. You're just getting ghosted all the freaking time. But because these guys are prioritizing their lives, because these guys are taking into account that, a lot more matters than getting my dick wet, people want to sit around here and say that, oh no, you're a waste of space, you're expendable. And it's funny because, like, these cocksuckers that claim that they care about strong familial values, right? I can't even speak. Familial values. Let me slow it down. These cocksuckers are literally starting to praise the people. For example, like in my community, right? In my community, the Nibbas, the Blizzaks, these chicks will always chase like gangbangers and criminals. They don't care about like the guys that have their heads on straight. And it's been that way for decades. Even when I was younger, like before like technology had like caught up and stuff like that, all chicks would do is chase gangbangers, right? So it would mainly be like a lot of guys who are like crime lords and stuff like that, just banging a whole bunch of chicks, and they're just popping out like 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 kids, right? And these cocksuckers are at the point where they're so sex starved that they think that that cocksucker who is destroying his community, who is fathering all these chicks that all these kids that he doesn't give a rat's arse about, they think that he's supposed to be celebrated, that he's living life. He's living life. He's fathered kids that won't even know he exists, that won't be raised properly because they're single moms. You think that that piece of trash is... Because listen, wherever there's a single mom, at the end of the day, there was a guy that put that nut in her, right? And at the end of the day, sure, you could argue that it's her choice to carry it to term, but he also, didn't freaking wrap it up when he was putting it in, so I hold him accountable as well. I look at kids that are here when I don't want to say that they could have been prevented, like in terms of like freaking ripping them apart in the womb, because that's what it is. You can say whatever you want about it. That's what it is. But when you could have easily just put on a rubber, you cocksuckers couldn't have even done that. Then you carry the kid to term, and you could give him to adoption because you're freaking, financially unequipped, but you keep him anyway. And then the freaking father can't even be bothered to be in the kid's life. Like, how much of a freaking cocksucker can you be to essentially have every say in bringing someone into this world, and you can't even provide them with freaking parents? Like, these guys talk about sex, but they don't understand that at the end of their day, sex is mainly for children, okay? All of this, like, preventative measures and stuff like that, that's not natural, okay? It's not natural. Pull-out game, you could even get a chick pregnant if you did not know with freaking pre-cum. Yes, you can do that, You can do that stuff. Sex is for reproduction. It's meant to be babies, right? And yes, while it can be used recreationally for fun and pleasure and stuff like that, it's mainly for kids. These cocksuckers don't even want to accept the possibility that there will be parents. And you're going to look at them and tell them that, oh, we should like celebrate those kinds of people because at least they're getting pussy and stuff like this. This is what I mean. This obsession that guys have for this promised pussy. Like, it's a lot of guys out here that think that they're not simps because they're not paying for OnlyFans, but yet here they are every freaking day talking about how, oh, we need to fix this, we need to have some kind of harem system. I hate to break it to you, cocksucker, but no, this is not some freaking 12-year-old anime fanfic bullcrap where some guy is just walking around with all these OP abilities and he's got these random harems. That's not life. It's never been life. You don't want to know who got harems? The guys that went around murdering everyone else. Unless you got the stones to do that, you ain't getting your harem. And to be honest, harems are really overrated, to be honest. Take my word for it, as someone who's been raised as the only boy in a house with 5 freaking females. The amount of drama that you have to deal with is ridiculous. And not all of those chicks, not one of those chicks is actually happy in a harem. Understand this. Yeah, sure, she'd rather share than like have an average guy, but let me be real with you. If she had a choice between sharing you and having you all to herself, she'd choose that. None of them are actually happy there. They're just hoping that one day they'll be the main, You'll just abandon, and then you'll realize how awesome she is and just stay with her. That's all that they want. And I'm going to be honest. This is why, like, one of the biggest things that I want to do, like, if I could blow up, right? In terms of, like, financially. I'm not talking about, like, publicly or something like that. If I could blow up financially, one of the things that I would do is I would literally just, like research Japanese and Chinese, like, robots, right? Sexual robots. Because these guys are so retarded, and these guys are so freaking obsessed for pussy juice that if these guys do not get something, they're literally just going to freaking continuously advocate for the most ridiculous, like, essentially just as gynocentric garbage as a feminazi. Saying, oh, well, maybe if we just had, like, not many men, and, then there was only a few, then they'd all be starved for us and competing with us. Listen, if this is anything to tell you off of, considering the virginity rate for, like, most of the world, right? These girls don't give a rat's arse. Even if the population was, say, 80 chicks, right? 80 chicks to 20 men. They would still chase the rich guys. You're not gonna fix that. You're not gonna fix that. That's just what they want, and you can't change that. Now, unless you want to, like, again, take their rights away, which, to be honest, I really wouldn't be opposed, considering that they don't have to freaking go to war, whereas I have to freaking go to war and stuff like that. They face no consequences, even if they lie on me or something like that. Like the maximum time that they could get in a year right now for ruining, like, a guy's life, what, a year? For lying about sexual charges? This guy gets his scholarship taken away, he gets his career ruined, no one wants to associate with him because of the drama. Because of Me Too. Because of all of that crap. And this cunt gets a year because the courts tell them, oh, you must be more merciful for females. Yeah, I wouldn't really be opposed to those chicks having actual equal rights, We don't get special privilege in freaking courtrooms. We don't get special privilege from the battlefield. That would be nice. But in every single one of these, all they do is just seduce their way out of it. Oh, I'm about to get drafted. I'm just going to go around, find the random guy, dick me down, get pregnant, and then just dodge the draft. Oh, what's that? In the courtroom, I'm just going to suck the judge off and let him freaking bang me, and then he's in my favor. This is just what they can do. So this is why I say, listen, if I had money, what we really need to do, high key, is just even the odds. Guys actually need an alternative. And that's where the robots will come into play. Because a lot of guys will say, oh, I'm just averted to doing that. But are you really? Are you really? Like, that's really the thing. It just really needs to look close enough and just not be a stiff. And I've got, like, the perfect, I've got, like, the perfect model. Like, I probably am, I'm going to edit this video a little bit and, like, show snippets. Like, I'm going to put, like, a face, like, of Eve, probably, like, somewhere around here. Like, I have, like, maybe I shouldn't say all, like, the ideas, but I have, like, the schematics in my mind, Like, I can draw this crap up. Like, I put, like, essentially, like, where the face is, like, the E face. Like, that's going to be the face of the robot. And you can project either, like, like, say, the internet or an avatar onto that. And you could, like, connect to, like, an app. And, like, the avatar will respond to what's happening to the doll, And I feel like if guys had that, if they'd at least have that, then, like, maybe they'd at least be a lot more sane and grounded. Because for some reason, guys feel as though they need sex to be grounded, but at the same time, they're not willing to pay for it. But they think that it's different if they, like, had a chick that, air quotes, genuinely desired them. She's still going to make you, like, pay for all the bills. She's still going to make you do all this crap, but somehow that's genuine desire, even though you're still paying for stuff, right? Listen, if it was genuine desire, you wouldn't be struggling to get a girl right now. Hate to break it to you, no chick really genuinely desires men. That's usually never how it's been. It's always really been about, does this guy have the ability to take care of the chick? Even back in the day where it was, like, arranged marriages, that's just how it was. Now, sometimes, like, the guys would get, like, dowries, because, yes, sons were married off just like daughters were. Hate to break it to you. Yes, you would be married to freaking cousin Bucktooth Becky, because they want you to work the farm and freaking keep it in the family. You make a whole bunch of freaking inbred kids, because that was the only thing around, so... I don't sit around here on my arse and look around those days and just freaking lollygag and think about how awesome it is. I'm too busy worried about, trying to get work, because I'd rather not be freaking homeless. I have a lot more important things on my mind to worry about than freaking pussy, because, again, I think it's funny that a lot of guys think that it's this grandiose thing, because it's like, again, once you have it, it's like, yeah, you were willing to kill yourself for that, really? You think that life's meaningless because of that? It's really completely overhyped. Yeah, I really don't understand why people give a rat's arse about this so much, but I digress. One of the most important things that I'm really beginning to understand is that if no one, like, creates this freaking artificial, like, love robots or whatever, which they will. Again, the market is, like, too big for it to, like, not be made. Like, it literally cannot fail. Like, people will get this dramatically, right? But if no one did it, these guys are just going to keep, like, spiraling into this, like, madness. They really will. And I'd rather not see them spiral into that, because you just gotta admit it. Some guys are just... Some people in general, not just guys, dude. Like, just people in general are just pathetic. Does that mean that they should, like, die or something like that? Or they should be just never heard or something like that? I don't feel that way, no. But can you really take them seriously all the time? I mean, absolutely not. Like, take a look at freaking 2020 when these people were convinced to, like, freaking turn against their neighbor over petty crap. Oh, you're a villain for wanting to spend time with your family on the holidays? Like, this is the kind of... And people were stupid enough, pathetic enough to fall for that crap. The freaking politicians would be caught in the parties and orgies and doing all this stuff. Wouldn't be social distancing. They'd be caught on video, and then they'd say, "Oh no, we actually did social distance." And you're over here attacking your neighbor, yet you get the freaking footage of the freaking politician who said that stuff, and you don't say a word. A lot of people are just sadly just pathetic. You know, they get worked up over the smallest crap, and then when you call them out on it, and you call them out on the hypocrisy, they don't want to admit it. It's pretty weird, but doesn't really surprise me anymore because it's clown world and nothing ever does. But I just gotta be honest, man. Like, someone has to do it, and I would really like if it could be me because honestly, I'm not even gonna charge it like that expensive. Like, I'd have like 0 interest rate because it would be mainly about altruism. It wouldn't really be about making money. Because the funny thing is, like, if you just sell stuff that's good quality at a reasonable price, like you can make good money. I've never understood why people make it seem like you can't be ethical and make money at the same time. But the world of business is very shady and dark, and it would not surprise me if I did make that, like if I tried to get JFK'd or something like that. It really wouldn't surprise me. Freaking feminazis, oh no, they're gonna be graping the plastic. It's not like I have horse dicks, dog dicks, dragon dicks all in my drawers, and, they can vibrate and stuff, but I'm not graping them, disembodied penises and stuff like that, right? Meanwhile, here's a guy with the entire, likeness of the chick, and apparently that's wrong. But I digress. That's neither here nor there. I'm going to go ahead and conclude this. I'm just mainly thinking about that because it's really crazy to look at some of these guys as they go down this rabbit hole of, like, obsession over how we're going to fix this so-called lack of pussy crisis when every chick on here is a goddamn whore, and if you really want it, you can just pay for it. But, well, I hope you guys got something out of this. Hope you guys tolerated listening to my crazy arse rants, my delusions. God bless. I'll see you next time.